One of the most common questions I get as a tenant representation broker is, why do I need to hire a broker on a renewal? My name is Taylor McCarg, and I'm a vice president here at AQUILA Commercial, here to tell you how you can avoid some of the biggest risks when renewing your office lease. Simply put, the biggest thing that you are giving up by not hiring a tenant representation broker during your renewal is financial leverage. Even if you have a great relationship with your existing landlord, the reality is that landlords do not often give market concessions if they are certain that you, the tenant, will stay. Leverage can be created by going through the site selection process, even if you are certain you do not want to relocate. Tenant representation brokers actually add more value beyond just the site selection process. We are here to serve and advocate on your behalf throughout the lease negotiations and provide market intelligence and secure the best transaction possible for you and your business. If you are new to commercial real estate and aren't familiar with what a tenant representation broker is, check out our other video, which dives deeper into what a tenant representation broker actually does. The link is in the description as well as in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Hiring a tenant representation broker is important, and it reduces the financial risk and uncertainty that you could encounter when renewing your commercial lease. The greatest asset you can have as a tenant is leverage, and the best chance you have to gain market concessions and secure a better deal for your renewal is to have the one foot out the door mentality. Concessions are adjustments or discounts that a landlord can provide that work to your advantage, such as abated rent and tenant improvement dollars. The goal of your tenant representation broker should be to find an alternative space via the site selection process so that you give off the impression as being indifferent to staying or leaving, thus creating leverage for negotiations and increasing your chances for favorable concessions. The site selection process is a complete process, going from understanding your space needs as a tenant, touring available space not just in your building but in other buildings, all the way through reviewing a lease amendment. This applies whether it's a new lease or, more importantly, a renewal, because as I mentioned, creating leverage in a renewal is probably one of the most effective ways of mitigating risk as a tenant. If you want to renew your lease, you may wonder why the site selection process is even relevant to you. A lot of times, landlords do not give market concessions if they are certain that a tenant is going to stay in place. Concessions are common even in lease renewals, and tenant representation brokers have the skills and experience to help you achieve them. By not working with a tenant representation broker, you could be facing additional risks when it comes to your renewal and miss opportunities for the best deal possible. In actuality, tenant rep brokers do much more than just assist with the site selection. In another video, which I'll link below, we talk about the top 3 benefits of hiring a tenant representation broker. But when it comes to creating financial leverage, there are other key advantages that a tenant rep broker provides as well. For example, I recently had a client who's a tenant here in the Austin area who was considering a renewal for their downtown office lease. The landlord provided a proposal up front for their renewal to the tenant, and based on that initial proposal, we compared that after going through the site selection process and giving off the impression that we might leave, and there was a significant difference in that initial proposal compared to the terms that we ultimately landed on. If our client had not hired us for this transaction and had just signed the renewal proposal as it was provided by the landlord, there would have been a significant difference in the concessions that were originally provided versus the amendment that we ultimately executed. A lot of tenants think if they have a renewal option in their lease that they do not need to hire a broker. In not hiring a broker, you're exposing yourself and your business to perhaps the biggest risk when exercising your renewal, which is missing out on an opportunity for financial leverage. A tenant representation broker is here to help you understand the market and what sort of concessions could be available to you. For more information, please check out the full article on our blog, and remember, nobody knows Austin better than AQUILA.